have with me Carl Pei, OnePlus's co-founder. Carl, thank you so much for speaking with Factordaily. First up, the OnePlus 3, everybody's been talking about it. How has it done for you globally and in India?
I think it's our best product so far, not only in terms of the reviews from our users, from the media, but also in terms of sales. So I guess it's a good problem to have. We weren't really expecting this. It's our best selling device so far.
How many units have you so far sold globally and in India?
We're not disclosing the amount of units we're selling, but it's beyond our expectation. I think we're going to run into some inventory issues in the next few months.
And how do you plan to address that?
We'll see, because when you make a smartphone, you're kind of limited by the bottleneck component, and for us, that's the display. And for a display, you need to place an order like 3 months or 3.5 months in advance. So when you're faced with a situation where you don't have enough inventory in the short term, the only thing you can do is to reallocate from other regions. So it's going to be a difficult decision for us going forward.
What do you think has been the main reason behind OnePlus 3's success?
I think, so we talked about dash charge before this. I think dash charge is a big part of it. I mean, it's kind of changing the way people approach charging. Me personally as well, I would charge the phone every night before, and after using dash charge, I just top it off whenever I need to charge. But I've seen a lot of people just say they can't really put their finger on what's good about it. They just feel it's a really solid device. And I think that's because of some of the attention to detail that we put behind the scenes. So some people, they have been talking about the volume rocker and the power button, how it feels good to click. And for all forms of modern industrial manufacturing, there's always variance. So you're never going to get all identical volume switches. Some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are a little bit smaller. Same for the phone case, and same for the hole that we cut out. If you have a big volume rocker in a small hole, it's going to be very difficult to kind of press it.
Yeah.
And if you have the other way around, it's going to wobble. So what we did is we have an extra step in our production process where we sort. We put the larger volume rockers in a pile and the smaller ones in a pile. We put the larger holes, the back covers with larger holes in a pile, and the ones with smaller in the pile. This way we match, so it's always perfect. And this is a process that we kind of learned from the Apple manufacturing process. So far, I'm not personally aware of any other Android manufacturer placing so much kind of attention to detail on the volume rocker.
You spoke about attention to detail, and you mentioned Apple. Are you inspired by Apple, and are there other phone companies that you admire?
We think that when it comes to the hardware, the attention to detail, there's only Apple that's worth respecting. No one else puts as much emphasis on the product. And that's kind of why we started this company. I don't know if you know the backstory, but back in mid to late 2013, a bunch of us were sitting around talking about the industry, and we were all using iPhones. And we're like, why are we all using iPhones? Why can't anyone that makes an Android phone make a good product? So that's kind of why we started.
How big is the Indian market for you vis-a-vis the other markets where you're present?
India is, so our biggest market is Europe. India is number 2. Then we have the States and China. But it's worth to note that India is a very peculiar market for us, because overall the space above 20K is a very small slice. I think it's 10 or around 10% of the overall market. There's some study recently by CMR that said we were number 3 within the 20K and above range. So you have Apple, you have Samsung, you have Apple, and you have OnePlus.
So Carl, very quickly, I'm going to ask you some quick questions, and I want you to answer them without thinking too much, right? How many hours in a day do you work?
12, 14.
Okay, and how many hours do you sleep?
I like to sleep, so 8 hours. My brain doesn't function well without enough sleep.
Right. How do you keep fit?
I used to be really fit actually, and I used to like count my calories and go to the gym. With OnePlus, we didn't have enough time, so we actually have a gym in our office. But right now, I'm back to basic exercises like deadlifts, squats, and the bench press because I don't have any time anymore.
How much do you deadlift?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to say.
All right. How do you maintain your work-life balance?
I think that's one of the challenges. I had a friend tell me that it's important to balance 3 aspects in your life: your wealth, your health, and your relationships. I think it's really easy to be really good at one of these things, but really hard to be good at 2. Sometimes when I work a lot, I don't talk to my family, I don't talk to my friends. I find it really difficult to balance.
How do you handle stress?
I'm pretty calm. I don't really, I just think through it and I handle it.
What's your favorite hobby?
Either food or travel. Probably food right now.
You grew up in Sweden mostly. How difficult was it for you to make the shift to China?
Although I grew up in Sweden, we spoke Chinese at home with my family, so the language part is proficient. I can blend in if I want to. If I go to Europe or the States, I can also blend in. So I think it's a big advantage. It's not hard for me at all.
Which are your favorite gadgets?
I used to be a really big fan of all types of gadgets. In university, I actually owned the entire Apple product line apart from the Mac Mini. So I had the iPhone Shuffle, Nano, Classic, Touch, iPhone, all the way up, even the Thunderbolt display. But nowadays, probably my smartphone. So all these gadgets have kind of converged into one product, and this is the product I use the most. When I travel, I really like my Bose noise isolation headphones. I think these are the 2 products I use the most.
Your favorite superhero?
Batman comes to mind first, but the new X-Men movie was pretty good as well.
Anybody particular from X-Men?
I really like Wolverine.
Okay. And lastly, what's your favorite music like?
Right now, I just go to Spotify and go to Discover Weekly. One of the recent songs that I really like is Light It Up by Major Lazer. It's very, very catchy. It's brainwashing.
Carl, thanks so much for taking the time out. Appreciate it. Thank you.